Hello everyone, welcome to Java Tutorials. This is our first tutorial. So in this tutorial, we will be learning about introduction of Java, history of Java, features and uses of Java. So let's start with the introduction part first. So the first question is, what is Java? Java is a programming language and a platform which is used to create a lot of applications and websites. Nowadays, you can find Java is everywhere, from your desktop applications to your server-based application, from your mobile phones to your refrigerator or washing machine. From embedded system to robotics, Java is used everywhere, and Java is both compiler and an interpreter based language. I will tell you about this in later this tutorial. So now we know that Java is a programming language. But what is a platform? Any software or hardware environment in which a program runs is called a platform. So our next important question is, what made Java so special? The very first thing that made Java so special is its platform independence. And the other important thing that made Java so special is its object-oriented approach. So let's have a look at both of these. Let's start with platform independence first. Suppose you are creating a file in C++ using your Windows operating system. So when you compile your program, what C++ will do is that it will use the resources of your Windows operating system to generate your output. That means now your C++ program is completely dependent on your operating system. So what will happen if you like to transfer that file from one operating system to another operating system? It will not be done. Why? Because C++ is now completely dependent on your operating system in which you had made your program. Suppose I have made mine in Windows operating system, so it will be compatible with my Windows operating system only. So if I like to execute my command on different operating system like Linux or Macintosh or any other operating system, it will not be done. So to eliminate this drawback, what came into picture was Java Virtual Machine. So now what happened in Java is, there is another layer in between your program and Windows operating system or any other operating system. When you create a program and when you compile your code, it is converted into a bytecode first. That bytecode is portable and can be executed on different operating system. So what you have to do is, you have to create a program, compile the program, and it will generate a bytecode, and that bytecode can be executed on any other operating system which has its own Java virtual machine. So this is how platform independence work in Java. When you compile your program, it will be converted into a bytecode. That bytecode is executable on any of the operating system. Whether you take a Linux operating system or Macintosh or Windows or any other operating system, what you will need is the Java virtual machine for that operating system, and it will work fine the same way as it will be working on the older operating system. So there are two more important points about Java virtual machine and Java is, the first one is Java C, that is our Java compiler that converts source code to bytecode. Our another point is Java virtual machine. As we have seen in our previous slide, Java virtual machine, it is an interpreter that converts bytecode to machine language code, and bytecode is generally represented in hexadecimal format. So the whole scenario about platform independence is that after compilation, the interpreter reads the generated bytecode and translates it according to the host machine, that is your operating system, and bytecode is interpreted by Java virtual machine. So our next important feature is object-oriented approach. What is an object-oriented approach, or why we actually needed an object-oriented approach in Java? Object-oriented means we organize our software as a combination of different type of objects that incorporates both data and behavior. Let's take an example. Suppose person is an object. It will have its own feature, like it will have its name, age, color, height. It will perform some function that it works, salary. So object is nothing but a combination of data and method. That is, object contains data and code that manipulates that data. And what is class? Entire set of these features, that is of objects that can be wrapped into one entity, is called as a class. So we can say that class is a blueprint from which any number of objects can be created. Let's take another real world example. Let's create a class called fruits. So what will be its object? Its object can be the number of fruits like mango, banana, orange, because all of these objects will possess different features. So let's move on and have a look at important features of object-oriented approach. Objects, class, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction and encapsulation. We will have a look at all of these features in our later tutorials when I will be telling you about all of these practically. So our next question was why we actually needed a object-oriented approach. What were the drawbacks of the previous approach, that was procedure-oriented approach? These are the few basic differences. There are many more, but the most important ones are that in procedure-oriented approach, data was treated not that important, but in object-oriented approach, data is of much importance. Another important thing which we have got in object-oriented programming is that we can use access specifier, that is public, private and protected. It is used to give access to the data. That means I can select the visibility of my data to the number of functions I want to. data moving, that is procedure oriented approach, data can move freely within functions. That was not a good approach. But in object oriented approach, only objects can move and communicate with each other through member functions. Another important feature of object oriented approach was data hiding. That means you can provide security to your data and application. In last, you can see there are few examples of procedure oriented programming language and object oriented programming language. So these are the basic things you have to know about object oriented programming, procedure oriented programming and Java. Now let's have a look at the history of Java. I will not be boring you with the history. I have just written 3 points for history of Java. That it was first developed in 1991 by James Gosling. It was initially named as Oak because while he was developing Java, there were too many oak trees around him. Then Sun Microsystem later released the first implementation of Java in 1995. If you want to learn more about the history, you can check out the books. So let's move on and see few more important features of Java. Java is simple and robust. That is, it has strong memory management, automatic garbage collection, exception handling mechanism and type checking mechanism. Another important feature of Java is multi-threaded. So what is multi-threading? Multi-threading means you can execute different programs concurrently. That means you can perform different actions simultaneously. The main advantage of multi-threading is that your program can share memory. Another important feature is that it is secure. Java does not use pointers, so there is no direct access to your memory location. Bytecode verifier, that means when your file is converted into a bytecode, it is verified. When it's compiled and it is converted into bytecode, any illegal fragments will be eliminated thereon or it will throw an error. Each program runs under Java virtual machine first. That means there is no direct link of your program to your operating system. It will be first converted into a bytecode and Java virtual machine will then interpret the code. And the last and the important one is security manager. That means it determines which resource a class can access, such as reading or writing to local disk. So other important feature about Java is that it is compiled and interpreted. I have explained to you about this earlier in this tutorial. Another important feature is that it is distributed, dynamic, architectural neutral, high performance and portable. So these are the basic and important features of Java. Now let's move on to the uses of Java. As I have told you, nowadays Java is used everywhere. So let's take few examples of our day-to-day life to see the uses of Java. First one is web application. You can use any of the web application. Many of them will be using Java. Like for example, irctc.co.in. The another one, desktop application, your media player, antiviruses uses Java. Enterprise applications. Any of the banking application uses Java. You can check it for yourself. When you go on for any transaction in any bank site, it will ask for the Java first. Mobile applications. Even mobile phones are based on Java. Games, robotics, embedded system, everything uses Java. So this will be all about the introduction part and the features and uses of Java. In this tutorial, we will learn how to download and install Java, then how to download and install Eclipse, and then the various features of Eclipse right from the very beginning, that is creating a workspace, selecting between the different workspaces, creating a project, views, perspective views and various other features. So let's start this tutorial with the very first topic, that is how to download and install Java. Go to your browser, enter download Java. You will get the very first link from the Java, click on that. As you can see, the browser has taken me to the Java download page. So what you need to do is, you have to click on this free Java download icon. It is a version 8. Click on that and it will take you to another page, that is for agree and start free download. When you click on this, it will start the downloading. See, down in the browser window you can see it has downloaded the file. So when I double click this file, then it will ask for the installation. If I click on install, it will start downloading the Java and installing the Java. Now click on next. See, we have got the message as you have successfully installed Java. So click on close now. Then it will pop up a message that verify Java version. If you want to verify, you can verify it over here, or you can just close the window. If you like to check where is Java installed on your system, go to my computer, click on the C drive, program files, and in between that you can see there is a folder named Java. Click on that. The third folder of JRE 1.8.0_40 is our Java file which we have installed now. The above two folders which you are watching right now are from the JDK installation. So don't worry about that. So when you will install Java, you will get a folder like this. That will be all for the Java installation. Let's move on to our next software, that is how to download and install Eclipse. So write download Eclipse. The very first link is Eclipse downloads. Click on that. You will get a page something like this. We will be needing Eclipse IDE for Java EE developers, that is of 254 MB. You have to download this one. So now what you need to do is you have to select your operating system. If you are having a Windows 32-bit or 64-bit, you can select it from here, or you can go to other platforms over here and select your different operating system. If you know which operating system you are having, click on that. If you don't know about the system type, that it is either 32-bit or 64-bit, what you need to do is go to Start, right click on your computer, click on the properties. As you can see over here, I am having a system type of 32-bit operating system. That means my operating system is Windows 32-bit. So you can have either 64-bit, you can have either 32-bit, select accordingly. So I have 32-bit, so I will be selecting Windows 32-bit. When I will select Windows 32-bit, it will redirect me to another page. See, I have been redirected to another page. When I click on this icon, it will start the downloading. Actually, I had it downloaded, so I need not to download it again. You can start the downloading by clicking on this icon. So now let's see where my file is. It's in the E drive. So let's go to the E drive. When you will download the Eclipse, you will get a zip file like this. Extract that zip file, you will get a folder like this. So when you will open this folder, you will have your Eclipse application over here. It's ready to go application. You need not to install it, you just have to click on it. So let's click on the application. See, it's asking me to select a workspace. I can either select a workspace from the previously made workspaces, or I can enter a new workspace. So let's create a new workspace now. E drive, new workspace. Click on OK. It will take a minute of your time to initialize and start a new workspace. See, it has created a new workspace and our Eclipse is ready to run. So the very first screen which we are seeing right now is a welcome screen. There is overview, samples, tutorials and what's new. In the welcome screen, you can go through the tutorials if you would like to learn something about the Eclipse, or you can write, or you can see the sample codes over here. But for the coding, we need to, that means we have to enter the workbench. So either you can click on this workbench over here, or you can close the welcome screen. Either way, you will get into the workbench area. So let's click on the workbench. See, we have entered the era of Eclipse. Now what you see is, on the very left hand side of your screen, you have a project explorer, in which all your projects are gonna be. Whatever projects you are gonna create, it will be shown within this project explorer. In the very center, you have the editor view. That means whatever coding you are gonna do, it will be within this area. On the right hand side, you have the outline. That means your program will have some outlines. You can see the outline over here. On the bottom corner, you can see the markers, the properties. It will show you the properties of the file you are creating, like what is the name, type of file it is, what are the number of lines, anything you can see in the properties. Then there is servers. Right now there are no servers attached, but you can create a new server over here. Data source. As you all know, data source is something that relates to our database. So this is data source. So these are the basic windows in your Eclipse. Now the other point was, if I would like to switch between the workspace. So what you need to do is go to the menu view, click on file, switch workspace. You can either switch between the workspaces available, or you can create the new one in other. So this is how you can switch between the workspace. The third one was to create a project. Go to file, new. Down here you can see there is a project. Click on that. You can select Java project from here. Then click on next. Give in a project name. Mine is my first Java project. Click on next. Then click on finish. It is asking me now, do you want to open this perspective now? I will say yes. And now we will see the difference between the perspective. What is a perspective? In a more simplified way, we can say perspective as a view. See, before creating this project, we have some different view over here. But as we created a Java project, it has changed the view to something different. So this is called a perspective view. It will depend upon the projects you are creating. So how can we change between the different views? What you need to do is go to the top right corner of your screen. You can see a Java button. Then on the left hand side of it, you can see a Java EE. When you will click on this view, it will change the view to Java EE view. See, we have got the old view now. So now, if you would like to change it to some other view, what you need to do is go to the left hand side of your Java EE and click on this button, that is Open Perspective. Now you can select between the different perspective view. We will mostly be using the Java view and the debug view. So you can select the debug view from here too, or you can either select any of these. Let's select the debug view first. Click on OK. See, it has changed the view to a debug view. Similarly, you can go on with any of the views. So this is the basic difference between the view. These are the few windows which are available right now. If you would like to add some more screens, what you need to do is go to Window, Show View, click on any of the view you would like to see. So I would like to see the output window, that is our console window. So I have to click on the console. It will add it over here. So these are the basic few features of Eclipse. So let's see how to create a file now. Go to your project, right click on the project name, go to New, create a class, give in a name, click on the main method, finish. I will tell you about all this, how to create a file or what is the main method or something like that in our next tutorial. So don't worry about this. In this I am just telling you about the features. So let's learn the features only. Suppose you need to change the font color or font size or even the font. So what you need to do is go to Windows, click on the Preferences, open General, in Appearance, open that. There is color and font, click on that, click on the basics, and then you can find the text font. You can edit the text font over here. You can select the size. I can go to 12. You can select the font if you would like to change the font, like I will select the Cambry. You can go with the regular or the bold. Let's select the bold. Click on OK. Click on Apply. Now you can see back there the font has been changed. So you can change whatever you want to change in this window. There is no compulsion. If you don't like any of this, you can always reset it to the default. Click on OK. It will reset all the things to the default. So click on OK. This was the another good feature of the Eclipse. So I think this will be all for this tutorial. In this tutorial we have learned about how to download and install Java, how to download and install Eclipse, then the various features of Eclipse. There is one more important thing I would like to tell you, that if you are using Eclipse, you need to download Java. That is a compulsion if you are using an Eclipse. But if you are writing a program in Notepad, you have to download JDK. So downloading JDK is same as downloading Java. What you need to do is go to Google, write download JDK, and it will do the same for you. You have to just follow the procedure, it will be done. There is no big whoosh in downloading JDK. But remember, it is a good practice to use Eclipse, because while you are creating a program in Eclipse, you will get the syntax error right away. But using Notepad, until or unless you have compiled the program, you will not get the errors. So this will be all for this tutorial. Let's start learning Java practically with our first Java program. So what you need to do is go to your Package Explorer, right click on the project name, go to New, select a class, give in your class name. Mine is my first Java program. By default, the source folder of your program will be under your project name, that is Learn Java, under that src folder. By default, all your program file, that means the source file, will be contained in src folder with .java extension. When you compile your program, the .java extension file will be converted into a .class file, that will be your bytecode. As we have studied earlier, bytecodes are those files which is platform independent. So let's have a look first where those files will be stored. Go to your workspace. Mine is Learn Java Programming. Under that, the project name Learn Java. As you can see, there are two folders right now, the src folder and bin folder. Src will contain all your .java file extension and bin folder will contain your .class file. Right now both the folders are empty because we haven't created any file right now. So let's move on and create a file first. We have given the name. Down here you can see it's asking which method stub would you like to create. I will select the main method to be created by default. Click on finish. See, I have selected main method, so it has given me the main method by default, and we have successfully created our first Java program file. Let's go back to the workspace. Now click on the source folder. Here you can see it has created our first Java file. It will have an extension of .java, and bin folder will contain our .class file, that is our bytecode. So let's move on and see what are these codes pre-written in our editor view. The first one is public class my class name, bracket open and bracket closed. As I have told you earlier, Java is a purely object oriented programming language. That means whatever code we are gonna write or whatever function we are gonna call, it will be in the form of classes and objects. Every code you will write, it will be in the form of class, and whenever you want to call that function or variable of a class, you have to use the objects. Public here is our access specifier. Right now consider it as a syntax. I will explain you all of these in our later tutorials. Our next line is public static void main bracket open array string and argument bracket closed. This is a syntax of main method. Just remember it like a syntax for right now. I will explain you the meaning of public static void later on in our other tutorials, but let me first explain you what is a main method. Let's take an example. Suppose you need to enter a mall or a shopping complex. You will be looking for an entry gate. Similarly, when you compile your program or when you execute the command to compile the program, your compiler will look for a main method to start the execution of program. You can have number of classes in your program or a number of classes in your package, but you should have only one main method to be invoked at the time of execution. So main method here is the starting of our program. So let's move on and make our first program. Don't be nervous. In our first program, we will just printing a statement. Let's move on and create our first Java program file. So in our first program, we will just learn how to print a line. Hi all, learning Java is fun. So what I have done is, I have given a command to print a line. Hi all, learning Java is fun. So let's just first execute the command and see what's the output. Then I will explain you in detail. Go to your toolbar. There is a play button that is run. Click on it. It's asking me to save and launch. That means whatever code I have written, it will first save that code and then it will launch the debugger. See, down in the console window you can see we have got our output as hi all, learning Java is fun. So whatever I have written in the double quotes, it has been printed in the console window. So what system.out.println does for me is it prints the statement and terminates the line. So what is a system, what is a out, and what is a println? Bring your mouse to system. As you can see, it's written system class contains several useful class fields and methods. That means system is a class that contains many variables and functions. Out is a static member in a system class and is an instance of java.io package. Java.io package means java.input-output package. Println here is our function, or we can say is a method of Java input-output print stream. That means it is used to print a line. So this was our first Java program. Don't get too stressed. It's easy to learn Java. You just have to be patient. In this tutorial, we will see the difference between println function and print function. But before starting that, let me tell you how to write system.out.println in different ways. So what you need to do is, you have to write sys, press Ctrl spacebar. It will give you with the submenu. Select the system, enter dot out, enter dot write print. This was the first way to write system.out.println. Another and the easy way to write system.out.println is write syso and press Ctrl spacebar. Both works the same way. So let's see the difference between println and print function. I will just be copy pasting most of the things, so don't worry. So what I have done here is I have copy pasted the same line 3 times. Let's execute the command and see. See, down here in the console window you can see I have got each and every output in different line. So what println does for me is it prints the statement and appends a new line character at the end of the statement. That means it prints a statement and terminates the line, and the new statement is printed in the new line. Let's have a look at the system.out.print command. Again I have copy pasted. If you are an engineer, you will be using the copy paste a lot of times. That's the best thing you will be learning in your engineering days. So what I have done here is I have given a command to print a line hello, then I have given another command to print a line everyone. Execute the command. See, down in the console window you can see it has printed both the lines in the same line. It has not appended a new line character or a space between both the outputs. Why is it so? Because what print command does is it prints the line and terminates thereon. So if you want the space between the words, you have to add a space before another word or after the first word. Let's execute and see. See, we have got two spaces between them. So if you want the print command, you have to be particular about the output. If you want the new line character at the end, you will be using println function. If you don't want the output to be in new line, you will be using the print command. One more important thing you should know about Java is that Java is a case sensitive language. So what will happen if I write system in small? See, it has given me an error. What's the error? The error is system cannot be resolved to a type. Why is it so? Because Java does not know the meaning of this system. System cannot be resolved to a type. So if you are writing something, you have to be particular about the syntax. As I have told you, system is a class. So the class name starts with a capital letter. System.out is our instance, so it will be cursive. Println is our function, so it will be in small letters. So this is the syntax for writing a command. Most of the time you don't have to worry about the syntax in Eclipse because it will show you the error right away. But you have to remember the syntax and the format of writing because it's a good habit to know about the things. Another important thing you should know in Java is that every statement must terminate with a semicolon. If you forget to enter a semicolon at the end, it will give you an error. Let's see what the error is. Syntax error, insert semicolon to complete statement. That means you have to put a semicolon at the end of every statement. So these are the basic things you should keep in your mind. In this tutorial, we will learn about comments. And by comments, I don't mean the one which you pass on to your colleagues or friends. These are the important ones in Java. So comments are the important part of any program that help the person in reading the code. Suppose you have written 10,000 lines of code. Those code will be containing a lot of methods and variables. If you are looking at it right now, you must know what functions are for what functionality and what variables are used for what function. But if you look back after some time, or if somebody else is looking at your code, how will he or she know, or how will you know after some time that those codes are used for this functionality? So it's a better practice to write comments. It gives you a better understanding of your code, and it's a very good habit. So in this tutorial, I will tell you how to write comments. Basically, there are two types of comments. The first one is single line comment. So what you have to do is put 2/, go to your keyboard. On the left hand side of your right shift key, there is a slash button. Put 2/. It's a single line comment. Single line comment means that you can write whatever you want to write in a single line, and it will not be considered as a part of your code. There is a potential difference between a code and a comment, that comments are not a part of code. Comments are just used to give a better understanding of the code. Main method. So main method is start of execution. See, what I have written here is I have put 2// and I have defined main method. What is main method? Main method is the start of execution. So will it be considered as a part of my code? No, because we have commented it. This is the first type of comment, that is single line comment. Our another type of comment is a multi-line comment. So let's have an example of multi-line comment. Put a ***, press enter. This is the format of multi-line comment. So whatever you want to write, you can write in multi-line comment. See, what I have done here is I have written a statement. I have defined println. Println, it puts a new line character at the end of the line. Okay, so when I press the enter key, it again give me an asterisk to write another comment. Let's write another comment for print. What is print? So what I have done here is I have written it prints the statement only. So what's the basic difference between single line comment and multi-line comment is you have to put 2// each and every time when you are writing a single line comment. But in a multi-line comment, what you need to do is you have to put a ***, and you can write whatever you want. So in a multi-line comment, I can write whatever I want. I just need to enter each and every time. That's the basic difference between single line comment and multi-line comment. And remember, it's a good habit to write comments because it will give you a better understanding of the code. That will be all. In our next tutorial, we will learn about data types.